that employers can have employer-sponsored student loan repayment. So we're here to kind of talk about the landscape of employers that are participating in programs like Fidelity's. What we're seeing in the workforce is that this is something that is, it's impacting not just the millennial generation, it is impacting almost 2/3 now of anyone between the ages of 30 up to 59. So 80% of those workers are saying that this is a significant source of stress, and employers are now engaging to see how can they help them reduce the stress. They're taking 12 to 20 hours a week just focusing on their financial well-being. And so the employers that we're talking to are looking at this beyond just getting them out of debt, but how do they also have better work efficiency, how do they have better throughput, and it's a creative solution that they can bring into the workforce to differentiate themselves as well. We're hearing the millennial term, but it's 74% of them on average say that they would leave a job within 2 to 3 years. And so how do we retain them? If you've put this investment into them, how do you keep them engaged and go beyond just that 2 or 3 year tenure mark? And what's that impact going to have on us as they turn over? And right now we're looking at stats around $30.5 billion will impact the U.S. economy through this turnover rate of the millennial generation. So thinking through the employers that we work with over 350 companies across the U.S., from the small towns to the urban coastal markets of San Francisco, Boston, New York, and they're looking at this as a solution that isn't one size fits all. They can create the budget, they can create the eligible population, they can create the target audience for this, and it's something that they're looking at, how do I meet the goals that I need, whether it be retention, attraction, key hires. It's not just something that you have to roll out to your entire eligible population, and we are seeing utilization around 25 to 30% depending on the industry. You look at healthcare, legal, it's going to be a significantly higher participation rate, but we do see about 25 to 30% will utilize the benefit once it gets out there. And to kind of walk through some of the scenarios, let's think of a $7,500 budget that the employer allocates towards the employee. This could be an annual budget, or this could be an all-in program budget that they've allocated. So if the number one goal for the HR team is retention, they're seeing turnover in a high area, maybe it's in even kind of a difficult area that they can't recruit or they can't keep employees from. We've seen this especially in healthcare, where they want to bring them into an area that may not be the urban or attractive market. And so if we think of a target audience of millennials, you could create a plan of $7,500 that at $100 a month, it's a 6-year benefit. Stretching out the plan is something that employers look at as a way for retention. It's not just always, within the first year, you're going to get $7,500, keeping it on a long tail. The other piece that we're seeing is putting maybe an opportunity at the end of it, so $1,000 at the end of the program, or a lump sum throughout the program at the end of each year, just keeping them engaged, knowing that this is a benefit that will stretch over 5 or 6 years. The next goal we have is attraction. To the earlier point, this is not something that only impacts the millennial generation, and so when you're hiring and recruiting for mid-level managers who they also have student debt, there's something, the Parent Plus loan, where parents are also taking out debt on behalf of their children, and so to pull them from a firm where they've been maybe 10, 15 years, this is something that employers are using as an attraction piece. The employer defines the program. So we see most of our employers that we work with do offer the benefit to Parent Plus loans as well. Some are offering it to spouse loans. So, you, the employee, may not have the debt, but your spouse does, and so they want to be able to pay down the debt for anyone within the household. So this is a program that we define, which is a $200 a month benefit for 3 years. Still the $7,500 budget, but it's a shorter timeline, and also the offering to